Our trade relations have moved slower than our defense and strategic relations. However, in terms of our bilateral economic relationship, we have been progressing, and our two-way bilateral trade is yet to touch $15 billion, but there is a huge scope for expansion. Initially, when our relationship started all the way back in the mid 20th century, that was the time when our colonial rulers brought us together, because it was the joint struggles of the people of Vietnam and India, and we understood the kind of colonial struggles that both our peoples were going through. Post that, and the relationship between Jawaharlal Nehru, between President Ho Chi Minh and Mahatma Gandhi has been very, very strong. In fact, our relations, as they have evolved, even led the former Prime Minister of Vietnam to say that our relations are like a clear blue sky without a single cloud. This relationship has been actually even goes further back, almost 2,000 years, because we have linkages through Buddhism, we have linkages through Indian traders and Indian missionaries who traveled to the Far East. And later on, 1972, January, we established diplomatic relations. Our relationship has grown on multiple fronts, from economic to educational to cultural, to people, to defense and strategic cooperation. And the very, very important pillar at this time is our maritime and our defense cooperation between the two navies. Our trade relations have moved slower than our defense and strategic relations. This is because of the fact that although ASEAN countries and Vietnam in particular wanted India to join the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership in 2019, and the negotiations had been on from 2012, in November 2019, India decided to not sign the RCEP, which was quite a disappointment for the countries of Southeast Asia, Japan, South Korea as well, who had wanted India to be a part of this because it was the largest trade agreement, economic agreement, which was signed at this time. In terms of our bilateral economic relationship, we have been progressing, and our two-way bilateral trade is yet to touch $15 billion. So it is somewhere about $14.4 billion. But there is a huge scope for expansion with India's growing IT skills, with India's expanding footprint in different countries. Indian diaspora is welcomed in Southeast Asia as well. And there is huge potential for this to grow, especially in terms of construction equipment, in terms of pharmaceuticals. And from Vietnam also, there is scope for imports of electronics, of phones, of other kinds of equipment. From India, leather is another area, which leather, fabrics, textiles, these are other areas which have the scope for expansion. We have, of course, our ONGC Videsh Limited, which has since 1988 been there in Vietnam, drilling in the East Vietnamese Sea, that is the South China Sea, which within its exclusive economic zone. And OBL, that is ONGC Videsh Limited, has got another 3 years extension from 2023 to 2026 for further exploration, deep sea exploration of gas and oil reserves. And of course, this further builds on our bilateral relationship because Vietnam has complete trust in India's capacity and capabilities to enable its own, to leverage its own resources, and as a result of which this bilateral relationship has moved forward to become a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2016.